So, Tanya, thank you very much for joining us. I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited as well and happy to connect.
So, let's start with the launch of the magazine that is happening on April 30th. Tell us about the magazine.
Yes, well, for the past 7 years, I have been covering culture and events in Humboldt Park. It started out as a kind of passion of just experiencing my own neighborhood and helping local businesses by promoting their business. They weren't necessarily on social media, so I felt there were some folks kind of falling behind the times a little bit to help promote and bring visitors into the neighborhood. Um, so yeah, over 7 years, it's really been something that's lived on social media. And then with COVID, we launched our website that became a hub of resources for people in the neighborhood. They could find resources for mental health, food. We were doing food distribution, so information on that. And it became a really big network of sharing resources available to the community. So now in its seventh year, we're finally launching with our first digital issue. And we hope that this will, you know, give folks a better idea of what we have been able to experience over the years. Um, and then bigger goal is to eventually get to print and have that be something living in people's homes and offices. I think this is really a manifestation of a really like a love letter back to the community, um, because I want it to be a reflection of everything that's really beautiful in this present moment.
For people that are not familiar with Humboldt Park, or like myself, that don't live in Humboldt Park, maybe don't know it as well as you do, tell us about Humboldt Park. Tell us what we need to know about the community that you call home.
Yes. I would say Humboldt Park is incredibly special. I mean, we have 77 designated neighborhoods in Chicago, and Humboldt Park is definitely one that's a destination that remains a destination for the Puerto Rican community, but also the Latino community. Um, I would say that it's I hate to say this word because I see it everywhere, but vibrant, it truly is so full of color and joy and celebration. The music that is heard in the cars that are passing by or in the storefronts. When you come to Humboldt Park, you really feel transported to um to another place outside of Chicago. I love visiting all the neighborhoods in Chicago, and Humboldt Park truly feels like just where people are enjoying community, walking around, just even going to grab something to eat. You see people walking past each other, they all recognize each other and um very neighborly. It's neighborly, I guess, is the one way I would truly describe Humboldt Park. It feels good to know your neighbor.
Tell us a little bit about this first issue that is, of course, has multiple sections. Can you share with us one or two of the stories that will be featured in the inaugural magazine?
Yes, I'm super excited. For in our on our cover, we are featuring Chicago's poet laureate, um, who I first met in Humboldt Park. Um, and have heard her poetry firsthand actually at the National Museum of Puerto Rican Arts and Culture. And I'm super excited to share that story with folks because she's out there in Chicago right now doing her thing. Um, April, we just celebrate April is Poetry Month. Um, so it feels really fitting to launch with a poet, Chicago's Poet Laureate on the cover. We are also featuring, as I mentioned, in work um, during the pandemic of gardening. We are also featuring a soil researcher. She does a lot of workshops to teach folks about testing their soil if you're going to grow food, like better understanding as a homeowner or wherever you have a community garden, making sure that the soil is truly healthy and what steps you need to do to remediate your soil and things like that. So really, truly, folks in the community that um, I'm really excited to feature and highlight.
Let's talk a little bit about yourself. Tell us about the journey to moving to Humboldt Park. What inspired you to make that move, and why and what inspired you to launch the magazine?
Yes. Well, I'm originally from California. I've been here in Chicago 10 years now. Um, I moved here. My sister came to school here, and I went to school in San Francisco. And so I had reached a point in my career where it was, I moved to Chicago and make an attempt at a creative life, or kind of move back to Los Angeles and settle down, which was fine, but Los Angeles is kind of always going to be home base. Um, so I came to Chicago and kind of took a few years to figure out what I was doing. And Humboldt Park was really a natural projection and just what I went to school for and really just being um, a reflection of my experience in the neighborhood. And I think that that really resonated with people. And I think I've been able to continue on because it's resonated with so many folks who not just live in the neighborhood, who also don't live in the neighborhood, who live in Florida or New York or Puerto Rico. Um, like I said, like when I go live and things like that, and I have folks from outside of Chicago kind of watching what's happening in Humboldt Park, um, it reminds me that uh, the life and culture that's happening in Humboldt Park is really special, and people want to stay connected to that any way that they can. And so Humboldt Park Magazine is me continuing that work, right? I really love and value um, my experiences in this community as a transplant, being able to meet people who are deeply rooted in the neighborhood, um, community leaders. I have been able to experience, for example, with our 26th ward alderperson, Jesse Fuentes, I've been able to do community work before they were in that role. And so to see truly like who people are before they're now in different roles, um, affecting things that are happening in our community in greater Chicago, it's really great to like feel um confident that everyone is really out to take care of each other. And a lot of this work is rooted in, you know, those folks who may not, again, have social media, they don't know about that they need to promote and get the word out and kind of change their menu or all these other, or maybe get a website, like all these different things. And I feel like I came in and try to help in that way. And I think I have. I think, again, going back to we've continued on this work because it seems to resonate with folks. So as long as folks are enjoying what we're producing and showcasing and highlighting and moving with intention, I think we'll be able to continue this work and manifest it into a printed edition, which is something that I'm truly excited about and think will definitely happen.
Congratulations. Humboldt Park Magazine launches on April 30th. You'll see here on Illinois Latino News selectively featuring some of those stories as your magazine continues to grow. And we're absolutely happy and grateful to play a small part in lifting you guys up. So, Tanya, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you so much, Hugo. I really appreciate it.